Okay, guys. So my topic is accountability in life, right? And it sounds maybe strange, and you might think, well, what is that? What is accountability in life, right? And it's pretty simple idea. First of all, let's make a definition about what accountability is, right? And there is old definition of accountability. When accountability comes from outside, right? Imagine we're working in one company and I'm late on the project. My deadline is past due, right? And I can hear accountability coming to my office in the form of the boss. Hey, Balys, you passed the deadline. And I'm like, whoa, damn, I'm in trouble, you know? And the next time when the boss will say, Balys, do you want a little bit more accountability? I will say, thank you, I had enough, right? So, but this is the old definition. What I'm talking about is the new definition of accountability. Accountability that comes from inside me. It's not the force that is forced upon me. It's like not the boss, I don't know, not my wife, not my kids. I think about myself. And it comes from inside me. I'm the source of accountability. And here we get accountability versus responsibility. How does that happen? It happens really pretty simple. Let me give you an example. So what is your name? Dovile. Dominica. Okay, so imagine, Dominica, we are working in one company, right? And you're having a problem. And you come to me and you say, Balys, can you help me? And I say, yeah, sure, of course, why not? But let me check my responsibility. And I get my list and I see, you know what? There's nothing written that I have to help you. So sorry, it's not in my responsibilities. Then you're like, oh man, what should I do? You go to this fine gentleman, right? And you say, can you help me, guys? I really need your help. And they say, sure, of course, but let us check our responsibility list. And they check there and they say, you know, there's nothing written that we have to help you when you're in the problem. So if we're stuck in our box, in our responsibility box, nothing good happens, right? So if we want to make a change, we have to cross that box and be accountable. Can you imagine Michael Jordan playing a game and he jumps with the ball, going straight for the basket, and then the coach says, Michael, what are you doing? You know, it's like, check your responsibilities, man. There's nothing written that you can fly. Get down on the ground and drop the ball. You know? And Michael say, okay, fine, guys. Sorry, it's not my responsibility. So how do we identify who is accountable and who is responsible? There are two action plans. And one plan is acting like a tenant. And the other one is acting like the owner. So let's start with the tenant. Who is the tenant? Imagine I'm renting a flat, right? And I have 2 weeks left to the deadline, and I'm out. And I see there's a crack in the wall. It's kind of, I should fix it, but you know, it will cost money for me. So what I get? Oh, there's a fine sofa. So I grab the sofa and put it right in front of the crack. Yeah, it's not my responsibility. It's not my accountability to fix it. So nobody sees it, and my hands are clean, right? And I'm out of the way. So the first story is, it happened quite a long ago, you know, in New York, Queens, and meet this fine lady. It's Kitty Genovese. She comes after her night shift home. She parks her car, grabs her bags, and she goes straight home. And there's, on the way, she meets this fine gentleman. It's Winston Moseley, and he's the attacker. He pulls out a knife and attacks Kitty. Well, Kitty is stabbed, and she's in the shock. Adrenaline rush. Somehow she manages to get away from his grip, and she starts running and calling for help. And interesting thing that there's no reaction. Only after a few minutes, there's a one person who is saying, opening the door and, leave the girl alone, you bastard. And Winston, of course, he's scared and he goes away, and Kitty is dazzled, and she goes around the corner, and the man closes the door. What happens next? Winston is a smart guy. He cruises around the block in his car, and he comes back to finish what he started. And he goes in the search. And he finds Kitty, and she's a few feet away from a safety. Her strength ran out, and she's lying there unconscious. The second person in this story is a roommate of Kitty. She hears some noise right outside, and she looks through the window, and man, there's a kitty lying down, and someone is attacking her. So she grabs her coat and storms out of her room, but before opening the door to the yard, she stops. I'm just a girl, right? And maybe that man can attack me too. But she says, man, it's like, it's Kitty, it's my friend, I have to do it. And she opens the door, the attacker is gone, and there's Kitty lying unconscious. She grabs her and starts screaming and calling for help. And we have a third guy, a neighbor, who hears and sees that, and he says, okay, I have to help. He calls cops, he calls ambulance, and on the way to the hospital, Kitty dies. It's a shocking story, but the next fact is really shocking. When the police started the investigation, what they found out, that 37 people saw or heard the attack and chose to do nothing. One of the guy, he heard the noise and he put the volume up on his radio receiver, just not to hear the voice, not to hear the noise outside. So what do we have? They were stuck in their responsibility and they were acting like tenants. They chose not to see around them. They chose to be in their box. It's like, it's not my accountability, like, to go there. Why others don't help? They are the bad guys, right? I'm the good one. So if we act like tenants, nothing good might happen. But the stories, I have 2 more left, they are good ones. So the next story happens in USA, in the Fourth Center. There's a playoffs between 2 basketball teams, NBA, and there's a young girl, she has a chance to become a star. And all she has to do is just sing American anthem, right? Let's see how that goes for her.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the stars like stars? Stars like last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we walk.
That's that. The guy's name is Mo Cheeks, and he's one of the coach of the teams. If he would look at his responsibility list, it's like, when Natalie Gilbert is stuck singing American anthem, should I help her? No. So he could act like others, like, whoa, you're stuck, whoa, haha, and so on. But no, what he chose to be the owner. He saw the problem and he asked the question to himself, what can I do? Is it my responsibility or accountability? And he said, man, you can change something. A simple move, just stand up and go there and start saying the lyrics. Of course, he has no voice, you heard that, right? But that doesn't matter, All he did, he was saying the words, and he did not let her quit. When she lowers her mic, he says, oh, come on, just sing. Do it right. And one simple action from one simple man saved the girl. Of course, it happened in USA, and after that, it's TV shows and so on and so on. There's a question for Natalie. Would you do it again? Do you know what she said? Of course, if Mo Cheeks is around. So see, your actions can really change the world. And here's my personal story. It happened in Lithuania, in Kėdainiai, a small town. And I was on my way to training, just doing my job, doing my responsibilities and so on. And there I meet Irene. She's like aged lady. She's like 55, maybe 56 years old. She's from a small town somewhere near Panevėžys, and she's the kind of person when you're working in the sales, your sales managers don't look at you that good, It's like your age and if your results not good, so just be there and provide some results. Okay, guys, it's not ready, but okay. So we start the training, and I see that she does not show any potential. She's calm, she's silent, and you know what? I start thinking, man, what she's doing here? Maybe someone else could take her spot and do way much better. And then after that, we should have like a small training, and I should have personal feedback sessions. with the sales managers. And I think, okay, sales is over, so now the boss will give me like potential salesmen, so we could do like double visits to the clients, to the customers, and they would sell, and then I would give feedback and make them better. And what do you know? The boss comes and says, okay, Balys, you will go with Irene. And I'm like, man, I really love my job, but I love working with people who has potential and who want to open it up. And I'm a bit surprised. Okay, I'll make my first step. And then I say, Irene, where's the first customer? And then she says, you know, Balys, I had no time to make calls, to make visits, and so on. And I'm thinking like, man, I'm telling story inside myself that didn't I tell you so it will happen like that? But okay, I'm still thinking, just make that extra step you always do. And I did. I said, okay, if we can have double visits, let's have a mentoring session, one-on-one. What do you want to talk about? And she said, well, I would like to talk about my results and how could I increase them. And I think, okay, I will invest my time. And we talk with her, and I hear her story. And she's a lady who have worked in a small town, in a small, tiny shop for all her life. And now the top management team thinks that, okay, we will promote you. So in the past, the customers came to her shop, and all she had to do, just sit there and just sell the products. It's easy, right? And now, at age 55, you have to change that. You have to go to the customers. And she says, you know, it's hard because I have no knowledge, I have no experience in that. And my colleague who I'm trusting and from whom I could learn left. So I'm feeling all alone. And no, then it struck me. And if I would quit on her earlier, she would never made a change. So at that moment, I thought, okay, what can I do? I can invest my time. So we talked and talked and talked. We identified the problem. It was like her strength inside, she was lacking it. She was closed inside, and she had no strength. So we talked that she must read, she must go to the double visit, she must use her boss, her manager, just to get better and better and better. And the whole action plan was really a lot of work. And after some time, you know, when we separated, I get the message from Irene, and she says, man, it was really great conversation. I talked to you like a priest in the church, you know? And I was like, yeah, awesome, great, and so on and so on. But there was doubt inside me. I was thinking, okay, it's fine, it's fun, and so on, but what are your results? How are you managing? We had such incredible plan, and that doubt left inside my heart. I was thinking, okay, we just talked, and that's that. After some time, I meet with the managers of the Irene, and I ask occasional questions. It's like, how is Irene doing? And they say, man, I don't know what happened, but she blasted through the door. She started reading, she started asking questions, she started learning, and so on and so on. She started going to the customers, and now she's almost at the top. She hit her sales plan. She was lacking like 15% in 1 month. She did that, and she crossed the line. And I was like, wow, did she really do that? And she said, yes. When I had next meeting with Irene, she was a changed person. Because at the first training, she was sitting there calm with no opinion and so on. And she had a colleague who was so loud and talking and talking and talking. And Irene would sit there and tell nothing. But at the second training, that colleague was talking and talking. And Irene would, no, I don't think you're talking, right? And so on. The person bloomed, right? So what I want to say, if she would stuck in her responsibility box, that change would never have happened. Irene took incredible step, and she said, what else can I do? What can I do for my life to change it? She had a huge plan, and she jumped right in there, and she came out swinging with incredible results. So to sum up, what I would like to say that being an owner is way much better, right? All you have to do, you just have to see the problem, you have to take accountability for it, you have to solve it, and the hardest step is to do it. Because, you know, we have all kinds of strategies in our home written on the sheets of paper, right? And when the step comes, okay, do it. And then we're like, this is not really good. I will make the next one, right? So the do it phase is really important. And make that one step at a time. And I really understand that being owner always is impossible because we will go mad, right? Imagine if you would feel responsible and accountable for everything. You couldn't sleep at nights, man. It's like hunger in the world, war, and so on, so on, so on. But what I say, it's like become 1% more often an owner. Just 1% at a time. It's like increase your owner's action 1% per month. And you will be amazed at the results. So thank you very much. And what I do wish for you, be accountable in life.
Thank you, Balys, for your inspirational talk and especially for the wish at the end. But can you break it into smaller parts? What is like smaller step? What is something, a small thing that each of us could do starting today to become more accountable in our lives?
Okay, I will give you a small example how I started accountability in my life, right? In the office, we have accountability board, and for accountability actions, we get green dots. For responsibility actions, we get the red dots. And accountability has like a plague, it spreads, right? From your job to your personal life. And then I'm standing in a shop and I see old lady there and her purse drops on the ground. And I'm like, man, oh, here you go. And it's
like green dot.
Yeah. And it's in my head, it's like green dot, green dot, green dot. You know, so start looking for those opportunities. It's like always ask yourself the simple question, what else can I do? It's like that extra mile we're always just talking about, right? So make it happen.
And reward yourself, I guess. Even if it's a small green dot.
But reward will come because after that person, you know, it's like green dot, green dot, green dot. So start giving yourself green dots and you will see how your life changes.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.